right. Well, hello, everybody. We are doing our launch of a podcast because great minds think alike, right? Now, Lance and I have worked together for a long time. We've recently met Mark, and we realized that we all have the same goal in mind. We want to tell you a little bit about ourselves, and then it'll fall into place while we're doing this podcast. But it's about home ownership and what that does for people, and getting your debt to where you can own a home, and the security that gives for you, your family, and future generations. So I'll start by introducing myself, and then we'll have the guys introduce. I'm Jennifer Weithman with Benchmark Realty in the Middle Tennessee area. I've been a realtor for over 10 years. Some of my tags are: I play in the country, I love my tea and home, and educate, adapt, and overcome. I come from a long line of teachers and military. I work in a lot of rural areas, and I work with a lot of first-time buyers, post-divorce buyers, people who are looking for that second home or that dream home. And Lance is a lender I've worked with for 7-8 years now. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, and then you can introduce Mark.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Many of you probably know me. Those of you who don't, I'm the man with the hairline that goes in and out of fading there. But my name is Lance Dammeyer. I go by the moniker Loan Driver. Been in the business for 24 years. Coming this December, it'll be 25 years. And I've helped people buy and refinance homes across all genres. I work from the very top to the very bottom. And that's an interesting definition. There's not a right or wrong or what the top and the bottom is, but there's a lot of in between too. Ironically, in the latter part of my career, I found that working with first-time home buyers has been a big deal for me. It's something I enjoy a lot more than dealing with the other part I was just talking about. And I've forged a really good friendship and partnership with Jennifer Weithman. One of her tags, I don't know if she just says she plays in the country. This is a person that goes out and knocks on doors and makes things happen. Some old-fashioned sales, and it really resonates with me, the way she does things. So we thought, hey, why don't we put together this podcast we've actually been talking about for about 5 years. And we met a guy. He's on the upper left of your screen right here. His name is Mark, and Mark is with Aspire Coaching. And he helps people. Well, actually, I'm going to let Mark tell a little bit about himself and give us the rundown. But go for it.
Yeah,
everybody, Mark Crader.
Thanks, Lance. And Jennifer, awesome. Thank you for the invite as well. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you guys and partner with you in this journey. Just a fantastic group of professionals here. As Lance indicated, I run a company called Aspire Coaching, and the focus of my coaching business is to help people get ready to home buy, but most importantly, also get out of debt as well. In changing that behavior and that mindset into a growth mindset, where we may be where we're at right now, but that's not where we want to remain, and identifying the obstacles that might be in the way, how we navigate those obstacles in order to get to that place of where we want to go. As a coach, I love bringing in the accountability and the call to action for you to get the results that you want. So generally speaking, that's my business, and appreciate the invite and introduction.
Well, we're really glad to have you working with us and with our clients, and being able to help your clients as well. So this should be airing on Thanksgiving week. We're going to put podcasts out on Monday, and we were talking about, what are you guys doing for the holidays? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Well, Jennifer, why don't you tell us what you're going to be doing for Thanksgiving? Then you can set a standard for how we would tell people about our Thanksgiving.
Well, I sold the Tennessee boarding house in June. That was what my home was affectionately called. And now I have a place that we call Camp Tennessee, because it's on 3 acres down by the lake. And I'll be hosting my kids, my parents, some of my kids' friends, some of the kids' friends' parents, a couple friends who don't have other places that they can go to this year. And so I think we've got between 20 and 25 people coming. And then on Saturday, this is going to come out anyway, so I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag now. On Saturday, it's football, and I am a Buckeye fan, so I'm hosting another get-together with a game watching party against that team up north. And I think Lance might be coming to that. What else are you doing this weekend, Lance?
So Thanksgiving weekend, we'll be going over to my father-in-law's house here in Franklin, Tennessee. And I'll be happy to see my daughter and her husband and grandchildren. They'll be coming over to our house, and then we'll head on over to Jennifer's, my wife's father's house. Probably watching a little football. For those of you who aren't in the Mid-South, I'm a Buckeyes fan too, but the disclaimer is I'm a Buckeyes fan second, I guess, because I've lived in Tennessee since '96, and I'm a Vols fan now, so I'm kind of hoping someone big is going to lose, not Ohio State.
No.
I'll be rooting for someone to lose this weekend. So that might fall out. And then on the next day, I'll be headed, or 2 days, Thursday, Friday, I'll be headed to Jennifer's with my family. We've started a tradition. I think this will be our third year of getting together and watching the game. Game. And I'm excited to see her new place on the lake that she's worked really hard for. And I mean, Thanksgiving for me, we're talking about our homes. We all have a story. I think most everyone watching this and the people on the screen, we had a home that we grew up in. We had traditions. Mark's probably going to speak about that in a minute, but we had traditions, that things we did. I grew up in rural, as did the lady above me here. Where is she? Over there. Jennifer grew up in Ohio, in Columbus, and I was born in Columbus, but I grew up on a farm. And Thanksgiving, I'm going to share that story real quick so you get to know a little bit about us. Thanksgiving we went over to my uncle's, my dad's brother's house. They had a big farm, and part of the festivities was getting Thanksgiving dinner ready, which took all day. It was a big deal to make all of these things. Jennifer can certainly attest to that. She's one of those people that makes all the things. So my mom was making things, my aunts were making things, cousins and nieces. And then at 4 o'clock or 4:30, you went out and milked, and that took everyone. And to milk 52 cows or 60 cows, which might not seem a lot in today's modern age, that was a lot of work. That took 2 or 3 hours, and it was dirty, it was messy, and we all got back into the house around 7:30, and Thanksgiving dinner was served and a prayer was said, and then you sat down and you watched the evening game, which was going to be the afternoon, the late afternoon game, or the end of it, which was going to be the Dallas Cowboys and somebody. Mm-hmm. So I still like that the NFL does that, has the Lions game and has the Dallas game. And I don't know that football is so much part of it in my family now, but in my home we all get together. We get together at Jennifer's that's kind of why we're putting this together. If you didn't have that home, a lot of people aspire to have that home, and that home we're going to talk about that too. It doesn't have to be a home that you own. It can be someone else's home, or it can be someplace that you rent. There's a different phase. Mark, why don't you take it away? Tell us what you're going to do since I hijacked that.
Yeah, you guys are Buckeye fans. I know this is going to.
I got to stop you right now. If this comes out as the other team, Jennifer, we might have to. There's going to be a.
No, I vetted him. He's Wyoming and Texas background.
Yeah. What is it? It was what was that called? The
Be right. The Be Right Back.
No, we don't have to do that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, traditions have and Thanksgiving, I absolutely love Thanksgiving and the traditions that it brings and the wholeheartedness and family feel that Thanksgiving kind of brings out in all of us. It's that feeling of giving. I mean, Thanksgiving, what are we thankful for, but what are we willing to give as well? And I think that is ultimately why I love Thanksgiving so much and why it's so important for me. My traditions and the things that I lived in Dallas for 30 years, and some of my fondest moments have been not only going down for the turkey trot and running 5K and enjoying that part of giving by participating in a race to run to raise money for people and for different charities. But it's also enjoying, and believe it or not, I can't. And yes, this is actually going to get out too. Actually, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and that's hard to admit right now, and has been over the last 30 years. But going to one of the games and enjoying actually a Thanksgiving Day Dallas Cowboys game. that has been one of the funnest things to do. And then also gearing up and getting ready for what the sales that are going to be out there as well. But so I feel like there's a just everything about Thanksgiving rolled into one. And for me, the traditions have been to enjoy, make sure that I'm putting time into each one of those, and giving, being thankful for what I've been given, and being a good steward of that, and then also changing other people's lives as well. So that's
Well,
my tradition.
there's a ton of discussion this year about people having difficulty getting Thanksgiving dinner on the table. And my parents both come from very humble roots. Like, there were years that someone was supposed to bring a chicken for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and that person didn't show up. And so they had the sides. So the other thing, we hear so much about people and affordability in houses, and I'm never going to be able to get a house. And that just crushes me. In the last 18 months, Lance and I have helped, I think, 14 first-time buyers from 20 years old to 45 years old get their first home. Mark, how often do you see in your financial coaching, because that's what you do with people, how often do you see that their goal is not just to get out of debt and be able to breathe, but to be able to get out of debt so that they can buy a home? How often is that their goal?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jennifer. And I would say in my discovery sessions, probably 90 to 95% of the time is the comment of we want to buy a home, whether it's the husband or the wife indicating it. The comment is, we're here where we're at right now, but we want to buy a home. And I think when you dial into this from the sessions that I've had, what is driving that specific desire to be in a home is exactly what we all just laid out here. We just laid out all of the things and the traditions that we have as memories for how we celebrated Thanksgiving. And I truly believe when we're in that discovery session, it's those traditions and those memories that husband and wife, or even the single person that wants to buy a home, they had as a child to be able to experience in where they're at right now. And I really, truly believe that is their motivation.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And, so when I started in real estate 10 years ago, my first clients were rentals. My first listing was a rental listing. And I put probably 25 clients into rental homes that first year. And there are times when you should rent, maybe, it's you're building up your credit, or you're post-divorce, or it's your first time buying, or you're new to an area and you don't know exactly where you're going to want to live. But there is absolutely a stability of home ownership. And in that first year, I did put 4 people in houses by saying, is there a reason that you're renting? And they said, I don't think I can buy. And I said, well, let's find out for sure if you can. So, that security of being able to know what your mortgage payment is going to be at the end of next year. Is it going to raise in 12 months when the landlord chooses to? Are they going to choose to sell your home and give you 30 days notice, at 11 months that you need to find a new place? And maybe you're not prepared at all to even qualify for a new rental, or you have a pet that landlord allowed and the next doesn't. And that's heartbreaking to me. I won't even go any more into that. Lance, how often do you see people that we send your way that are not quite ready to buy, or just, whether they come from me or from other agents, or that you just run into? How often do they need prep to be able to buy? It's not, it's not a if, it's a when.
I've been thinking about the answer for this. The answer is not enough, because a lot of people, one of the reasons we started this podcast is a lot of people just think they can't do it. So we don't even get to the process of talking about it. About 15 to 20% of the people I talk to don't have a clue where to start. They're not ready. It's going to take some work. And I think that's something I definitely can work on and improve upon myself. But again, it's one of the reasons when I say improve on it myself, I mean getting in front of avenues where that could be delivered. Mm-hmm. People like Mark, people like other realtors, people and say, hey, I'll help people. That message really isn't out there. My industry, 60, 70% of the industry over the last 2 years has disappeared.
Same.
It is, yeah, same with realtors. So there's only a few of us left, and we need to let people know we can help people get qualified. It's a process, and Mark's very much a part of that. Now, I wanted to not try to change subjects, but put out there, and Mark, maybe you can address this later, Jennifer, if you want to kibosh this and table it to another meeting, is, a home, it isn't always time for a home. And I'm sure there's part of your counseling leads up to that. And it isn't always about paying all your debts and not having any credit isn't the ideal situation. And I know that that's something that Mark's going to talk about in this series over the next weeks and months, on how you can establish credit, how you can responsibly manage it, because it's going to be needed. And I want to add a side note, Jennifer, you didn't ask me that, but the feds and the government, they want to make a path to home ownership easier. It is a very convoluted, difficult thing right now. When a person is, when we talk about credit, when someone gets their credit pulled to buy a car, they often see it and this is your credit score, you get a car. But that's not the same as what a mortgage score is going to be. There's different modelings, and the feds, I'm not always a big Fed person, but I do like it when they try to simplify it and make it make more sense instead of.
Wait, does the Fed simplifies things? Okay, sorry.
You beat me to the punch on that one,
Yeah,
Jennifer.
I was finding a way to throw it in there too, but they're working on ways of making it a more streamlined process.
Bless their heart, they try.
Yeah. Bless their heart.
So, hijack your question.
So, well, and you've said a couple of things that were really important, and we are going to make this a series. We've thought of about 6 to 8 topics that we're going to go through in rotation once a week. We're going to put these out on Monday mornings. We're happy to have you DM us or email us or text us questions that you have along the way if you catch this. But one of the things that when we were first sitting down to talk, I had shared with Mark that Lance had shared with me, you have scraped up this money and you've got this pile of debt over here and you're going to throw all this money at it. But Lance, you've taught me that there's algorithms in this that you may want to pay this thing down to this amount. You may not be bothered by this in your ratio that they're looking at for house buying. And so we need to have all three of us working together to get you in the best position to buy a house, whether that's now or in 2 months or 3 months or at the end of your next year lease or whenever it is. And we want to be able to get that word out. When I got into real estate, it was about 2 years after I was divorced, and I was desperately trying to keep a home over my kids' heads and get one over my clients' heads. But now my boys are 22, my girls are 27. Lance, your kids are in that, teen to early 20s range. We see this generation that so often says, I can't get a home. We've run into plenty of clients who are older, and we know that we've been able to do it for others and we can do it for more. And I love that all three of us bring something to the table that makes this work for all of our clients. And we hope to spread it because there is, like we're talking about home for the holidays, there's a sense of security in being in that place that is comfortable, cozy, warm, good feelings. And we're hopeful that that's what you're able to build from the home you're able to purchase with us. And if that home right now, is something we'll talk about in the steps too, that first home, it's not usually what your parents are living in now. That was 3 or 4 houses along the way. But how do we get you there? So I'm very excited for this. And I very much hope that people will send in questions that we can go over. We've also talked about once a month, hopefully in the new year, doing a live Zoom type setting for people who are a little further in the process, a home buying seminar, as we may call it, and then do a live one once a month in the Middle Tennessee area. And just caveat, Mark, you can work nationally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Lance,
absolutely.
Are there any states you don't work in currently, Lance, or that would be difficult for you to do? I know New York is a little funky on its stuff, and California, I don't know.
I'm glad you asked. So I'm state licensed now. So right now I'm only state licensed in Tennessee and Florida. I can turn on Kentucky. I can get my license in Kentucky. It's a very easy process. But in my office, I have multiple people that we can hand that off to. It'll be taken care of like it needs to be. Don't lend in New York, New Jersey, Hawaii.
Okay.
I recently let my California license expire, and I'll be renewing that. I do a lot of business in California.
Okay. So, and obviously with real estate, I'm a license in Alabama because the lake that I'm at is down near that line, but I'm predominantly Middle Tennessee around the Nashville area, but I have a network of realtors nationwide. So if you are catching this and you're like, gosh, I want to work with these people, you can absolutely work with Lance and Mark. And if you want me to help you find a realtor that I follow along and is making sure that they do work the way I do work for my clients, I can put you in touch with realtors, most likely wherever you live in the continental U.S., including actually, Hawaii and Alaska too. So in the complete U.S. So I just want to let you guys know who are watching this, that we want to help you. And there's not necessarily constraint by locality, although to have me personally as your realtor, there is some.
What I really like to talk about here is what we have down at the bottom of the screen, and the segue, Lance, that you made into the topics that you talked about, and Jennifer also the things that you talked about, and anyone that's listening, I really want to for you to hear this. You're not alone.
Right.
You're not alone in this process. The people that are here right now, we've put this group together to walk with you, guide you from where you're at right now to that home ownership, to those traditions. And I really want you to hear you're not alone in this process, and there is hope. One of the things that I love about working with both Lance and Jennifer is just the depth of caring for other people. We can get you there. We can guide you and get you there. And again, like I said, I want to say it one last time. You're not alone in this process.
Well, and that reminds me of the educate, adapt, and overcome. You guys were both military. I wasn't, but I've got 9 generations of service in my family. And we are going to help educate you on what you need to do to reach this goal and to stay in that home and not be stressed when you're in it, and then get to the next home or investment homes, even if you want. We're going to educate you on what you need to do. We are going to help you adapt. We can lead a horse to water. We can't make them drink. So there's something on you there, but we're going to help you adapt your processes, your habits, your other things, so that you can reach your goal, so that you can overcome your current situation and reach your goal.
Yeah. Jennifer, that is a great message. Appreciate you saying that. Injecting hope and we may be here where you're at right now, but that doesn't mean we have to remain there. And I think that message is important to, message all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and some of our connections here, and then we'll kind of head out and meet again next Monday? Yeah,
absolutely. For anyone that's listening, you can find me at aspirecoaching.com. That's ASPYRE coaching.com. Love to sit down with you, strategize a plan, and certainly reach out to me. That is Mark Crader at aspirecoaching.com.
Okay. Lance, what do you have?
Well, there's a lot of different places that you can find me. I'm on Facebook. I call myself the Loan Driver. So if you look up Loan Driver on Facebook or Instagram, you will find me. I have a sub brand I'm calling the Lucky Dog Team, Lucky Dog Mortgage. I have a brand new website for that. I'll be featuring that. It's the luckydogteam.com. As we go into the next couple of weeks, it's one of the things I want to feature about my business is my team. All of us have a team of people. This is the team right here, the 3 of us. This is a team. I'll be wanting to feature that. But Fairway Independent Mortgage Company, 25 years, #Loan Driver, pretty much anywhere. Jennifer, let's hear about you.
So Jennifer Weithman with Benchmark Mortgage. It's a German name. It's Weithman. But I love my TN Home. So I love my TNHome.com or Jennifer at I love my TNHome.com. And then on Instagram, it's Twinnessee because I have two sets of twins and I live in Tennessee. So TWINESSEE. And you can find me on YouTube too. It's on I Love My Tea and Home as well. So those are the easy ways to do it.
So as this graduates, as this starts to move on for our watches, Jennifer touched this already. We're doing this recording is obviously previously recorded, and we will be publishing this, so to speak. It'll be available to you. We'd love to see in the comments below. First of all, like us. We'll start out small with people that already like and love us, but hey, like us, share us. I learned today, click on the 3 dots and share with all your friends. That'll be a big plus. But also in the comments, tell us what you want to hear about. I don't know if Jennifer got into that, but we've got a little bit of a bullet point of 8 things that we wanted to go over.
That's what I was going to talk about next. That's perfect. But we want to hear from you guys. So next week, I think we're going to be talking about the home buying process, just home buying 101. I will speak to Tennessee because each state does have some differences, but I'll speak overarching, and then there'll be some obviously state specific. Then Lance, you're going to talk about financing your home and the different kinds of loans that you do, whether it's an FHA or VA or a conventional or a USDA or reverse mortgage for our seniors. I love that program that you have. Then we're going to talk about budgeting for home ownership and positioning yourself. Mark's going to lead that one. Every week, we're going to talk a little bit about market trends, insight, what we're seeing, then preparing for home ownership. Whether it's the time to rent or buy. I said there are times that you might need to rent while you're getting ready to buy. Navigating the closing process, what parts of the loans you do as you're getting ready to close, what due diligence do you do on the actual house. And then we'll get into a little bit of building wealth through real estate and building to that next home or investment properties or second homes. And of course, like Lance said, we'd love to hear what topics you'd like to speak about along the way.
I think along the way too, we might even have some guest speakers, some surprise guest speakers that can add to this. Guys, I'm really excited. One of our goals was to keep this at 30 minutes. We're running at 27 minutes right now.
Yes.
Jennifer's a killer time manager, so that's why.
Mrs. Weithman has ways of making you behave.
Yeah, and you'll learn through the podcast you don't want to meet Mrs. Weithman.
You do not. Jennifer's all good. Mrs. Weithman, not so much.
But folks, I think we'll end it a little bit early on our first go. Just want to thank everyone and wish you a happy upcoming Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And just like Mark said, you're not alone in this process. You got a whole team of people pulling for you, and there's nothing that isn't possible.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope it's wonderful, filled with great memories and lots of thanks and lots of giving.
I'm adding this at the end for our streaming people. Remember, don't close this out until it does its upload.
Okay.
Talk to you.
Yeah, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Sounds good.